Okay, quick Friday morning radar update. So we got a strong pop on the markets today, just following the US again. As you can see, we've got, the small caps and the 250 mid caps have come to life, and we do want to see that. The jury's out whether this is going to be a sustained move and just punch through those falling mean trend areas. For those who know what I'm talking about there. We covered it in detail last night, didn't we? Let's just move into the volume screens. I'll just quickly have a quick look. We're looking at a few levels. We've got a level on this BITO, the Bitcoin ETF. I'll just mute that. Oh, before I start, I've opened up a few places at trading bases. I've got a huge workload going on behind the scenes, and I've just been trickle feeding. As some have left, I've been sort of, one out, one in. I'm going to open that link until Wednesday, and then the pricing will move more in line with what we offer. And it's going to be a little bit of a jump. So, if you've been thinking about it, I'm not here to hard sell you anything, but, now is the time, because I lock in members at the price they join the site. So, there is a monthly sub what's got the yearly annual payment attached to it in there as well. So, you can just take it up for a month and just see what you think. Moving on from that quickly. So much to do today. So yeah, we see this level. We know it's in a downtrend. It's nice to see a little base. The base is from an area and I hope it sort of back and fills and goes sideways for a couple of months. The reality is it might pop. I think if it pops, it might actually just come back down again. But I think if it consolidates, it might be a little bit more worth looking at. Now I'll just note that there was a little one here as well, and this one gapped out of the base and just failed straight away. So Bitcoin wasn't in a pullback area for this sort of secondary kind of base. What we wanted to see here was a big base, but it wasn't in that kind of area where we'd look at a little mini base. Now the bigger picture has come into that interesting area I was talking about on the ShareScope tutorial. So I think it's got a little bit more weight that something might stick here. The reality is, if it's going higher, a base up in the top right hand side at a higher price would actually be, in the future, after a little bit of price action, would actually be the low risk way of getting on top of it. A nimble nibble at it. We've talked about this little zone, what we thought it'd come to. Moving on from that, too much information, I know. Another couple of areas what we're interested in was those. I'm going to go and find the moving averages. The big picture sort of. This is the last chance saloon kind of average, and I'd expect it to revert to mean a little bit from here. Take a little bit of pressure off the markets. And UUP, let's just go and have a look at the volume, what's going on. There's not much to see when we go at the time frames. We've got some distribution here, and it did kind of have a little bit of a rest. We've got a breakout and a base measure kind of traded, and we've got a little bit more distribution again, and we'll just see how it plays out. We want the dollar to come back into the range for the markets to start trading like markets. But it doesn't, at the end of the day, stocks what have got a really good reason to trend when the markets are just in their happy place, doing okay rather than being ugly. Stocks will just start to quietly trend away. So it's a little bit of a myth that when the market's going sideways, trends don't happen. If you're picking stocks what are weaker than the market, well, yeah, obviously, but the job is actually to pick the stronger stocks. So if you're a stock picker, you've got to be able to pick stronger stocks than the market over the next 100 trades, I will say. Moving on, let's go into the volume leaders. Today, I've hit the wrong button already. So busy the last few weeks. So busy the last few days, and been suffering from migraines through looking at the screens too much. So it is 1 o'clock. Where did the day go? We should have traded 59% to be on average volume. That's average volume, not conviction. And I'll just buzz through a few of these what are hitting the volume screen, and I can find a huge amount if I take a trend filter off. Obviously, we've already talked about some of these deeper correction bases, and I've got a position in big, so I've talked about that already, and I've done a little video on it yesterday. I'm just going to look for ones what are a little bit structurally rising over the previous shorter period. So I'm just going to order these by sector. Just a little quick buzz through these. Looking at the fundamentals as always as we move along. This one's actually decelerating in the forward numbers, so it's kind of not racing, but there's nothing wrong with it. And I know those who are holding this one and bought it from a pullback, or been riding it from the stage 1 base here, are doing fine. But it is a little bit more of a sloth-like sort of investment vehicle, isn't it? That's what we're trying to get across. Lines in the sand at trading bases. There's a line in the sand what we put there, and this is what you get sometimes. This is the 10-month. They just come in a bit deeper sometimes, and the reality is, something like this one, it'd be better if it coiled up and bought it higher. It's not a GTRS stock, it's a POS. Put your cowboy hat on. It is what it is. So that's what's in the volume leaders today. I'll leave it there. I've got so much work to do today, and we'll see what the end of day screens turn up. Okay.